Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Preston from Up in the Air. Just wanted to give you a quick reminder that if you do enjoy any of the content you see on this channel, give us a quick subscribe. Anyways, let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Preston.
This is Hunter.
This is Ethan.
And this is Season 10, Episode 2. Whoa.
Season 10, Episode 2, baby.
This is Season 2, Episode 10 of Up in the Air. You know, the podcast bringing you jokes, gaffs, graphs. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Graphs.
Where's our latest graph at, huh? How we doing? Is it going up or down?
I think you got some graphs on this one.
Oh,
Like our graphs, I think they're pretty
Our
stable.
graphs are
They're
going
going
up.
up a little bit.
Graphs are going up, boys.
Really, what can I say about this podcast you're about to listen to? It's going to be magnificent. It may very well be the pinnacle achievement of MP3 platform. Well, this is, MP4 if you're enjoying it on YouTube, which you are, because it's not available anywhere else. But hey, that's besides the point. We've got a little news segment we're bringing to you this week called, Ivan's News Corner. Ivan's News Corner. Now, I'm going to turn it over to head anchor Hunter on what Ivan's News Corner exactly is.
Yeah. This is going to be news to you.
Okay.
I decided earlier that since I've done it the past several times, I think every week now, I'm just going to find a nice little interesting news snippet from Russia.
Just a little tidbit.
Hell yes. I'm
From
into
your
that.
local Ivan.
Can we get a name?
Because
Can we
they're
name it real quick?
Ivan's News Corner.
Ivan's News Corner.
Ivan's News Corner. I like it.
Don't call the Russians Ivans, though. This is Ivan's News Corner.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
So recently in Russia, there's a big old isolated city in Russia.
No.
Yeah, and they got a population of about 180,000 people, and its citizens are freaking the fuck out because they have finally gotten high-speed internet, and they can browse the web, and they're beginning to see how shitty their city is, and people are finally learning about stuff, and they're like, hey, this place is kind of fucked up.
Wonder what the speed of the internet is.
I mean, it
180,000
said
people.
here's the funny, so they said they ran fiber, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But these people, from the sounds of it, they kind of live in like a fucking glacier,
That would be the productive way to give them internet.
and it's a
That's
big...
a lot of fucking people, though.
It's a big-
180,000? That's
yeah.
a big fucking town.
It's a big mining city, apparently, and there's like no roads connecting it anywhere. Like you live there, and like you
Really?
don't leave very much.
Holy shit. Okay.
You can get a good couple thousand meters out of you can get a couple good it's like 2,000 or 3,000 meters out of a fiber run, out of a big one. So you could all the way down the city and be good in one run.
Yeah.
People before were never, obviously, not really able to see what the fuck was going on
Right.
because they
Yeah.
had really shit internet.
Isolation.
So pretty much everything was state media telling them that, oh, your life's great, the city is great, all that.
Yep.
Taxes are down, income's up.
Yeah. As happens everywhere most of the time now, now that this internet is here, younger people are turning to YouTube and all other kinds of stuff for news instead of actual TV.
Uh-oh.
And before that, whole high-speed internet said they had a intra-city computer network that allowed them to do pretty much
Yeah.
nothing.
Intra-city computer networks are very common with like government projects. So like it's basically like a library computer.
It's
how
a,
you would-
it's a mining town.
yeah.
Yeah.
All the information it could possibly need is you're gonna get weather. You're gonna get news from the area and what they're telling you, but there's no external
Google?
IPs getting in through there. So
Ain't got no Google.
you ain't got no Google.
I didn't write it down, but I read something else from the article where the guy that lives in the city, he was like watching this other Russian YouTuber who lives in like California or something now. And he was saying, he was like, I see all these videos of like everything that goes on over there and it looks so great. And it's like super different from what the media tells us. He's like, now I no longer think that like the West is deteriorating like they have told us.
They told them that the West was deteriorating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
Hey man,
That
if
totally
you're
makes sense.
listening, that's just calm down over there. We're doing okay.
Yeah.
You should move before they find out who you are.
Next segment is...
Segment, dude.
This is the next segment. This one is titled Other Shit. This is just from other places around the world.
Hey, you got shit going on?
This
Yeah,
is
this
the
is
other shit.
We're reporting on it.
This is Ivan's other shit.
Yep, Ivan's shit bag.
So, quick little brush over on this one. Hong Kong, still protests going strong. I read
Yeah.
somewhere
What was that? Like, how many weeks now?
Fuck, I don't even know now.
Since before we've started the second season of the podcast, so at least 10 weeks. at least.
So is it what, 4 months? That's what I've been hearing.
Rolling up, yeah.
4 months. That's fucking insane. Rioting in a city for 4 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Protesters apparently have began in some areas throwing firebombs at the cops. And
They're
I
evolving.
guess they've been like a lot. It's been happening all around the city. People are protesting or leaving like notes for their families because they expect that they're probably gonna get killed at some point.
Mm-hmm.
this is not good.
Yeah. Now also apparently Chile is now going into nationwide protests, and 7 people dead there already. I think that happened last week. Started.
We're on the
There's
precipice,
There's
man.
just some crazy shit going around the world right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's been in the news a little bit. I don't know how much people paid attention to it, but if you know anything about, excuse me, the Middle East, you know obviously for a long time the U.S. has had a large presence there. We still have
No,
a
hey,
pretty sizable.
What are you
presence.
talking about? We got them out of there,
Yeah. So
right? Didn't we?
I actually read a headline today that all the people
Watch out for
coming
them
out
headlines.
of all of the people coming out of where we're helping the Kurds,
Syria.
all the people coming out of Syria are going straight into Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've
They're
been-
not coming home.
Yeah, that's what
At least
I've
not
heard.
yet.
Damn,
'Cause,
that's
we're
rough,
allied.
dude. That's
we're
fucking
also
rough.
allied with Iraq. So U.S. That was actually my first line. U.S. pulled out of Syria. They're relocated to Iraq, abandoning the Kurds, which is kind of it's a huge cock punch to them because we've been rolling with them for a while now.
Kicking the dick, man. Really.
Leaving them to fight Turkey by themselves. Well, I shouldn't say entirely by themselves. So obviously, already Russia has already occupied previous U.S. positions that we've left. So Russia's kind of I don't know how much Russia is really going to help them though, because I'm pretty sure they do have ties with Turkey.
Yeah.
And Turkey is also not a NATO, but a UN nation. So that's going to be a difficult one. So they're probably going to fuck up the Kurds also. Oh, yeah. From what I've read, it seems like the U.S. Special Forces that were in the area were kind of met with some mixed reactions from the Kurds.
Yeah.
I read that some of them were throwing shit at the armored vehicles as they were leaving and yelling at them and shit. Then
Yeah, I read some headlines about that today too.
other people were holding up signs saying like, "Thank you for helping us," and I know it's like your president, not you, and all that shit. So I mean, it's kind of like a mixed bag right now.
Well, that was a bunch of concurrent big noises there. You know what? Let me just readjust my chair. I'm sorry to
Clinkty
interrupt.
clankty clinkty.
Here we go. Hey, how's it going?
Clink clank.
Just pressing over here, trying to get his fucking self comfortable.
A photo has been making the rounds of some Special Forces members have been seen wearing the patch of the YPJ as a sign of respect and unity. The YPJ is an all-woman unit of the YPG. If you don't know, they're a Kurdish group over there that fights ISIS. But the YPJ
Doing
is
good work, basically. Yeah.
The YPJ was an all-woman unit that kicked ISIS's ass pretty hard.
Are they disbanded?
damn.
Like, what's going on now? What are they doing now?
The YPJ and YPG,
Yeah.
they're still going strong.
Yeah?
They're still fighting.
Let's get a movie about that.
Yeah,
No
that'd
shit.
be fucking awesome.
Well,
I'm
'cause-
down to watch that shit.
I mean, I told you guys in the past that like I followed like a couple dudes on Instagram who were
Uh-huh.
like from Europe and flew over there to fight. And
Oh,
all that,
you
and
showed me that one dude of the. Oh yeah,
I
that
read
big workup.
I read his book and everything. One of his, not the guy that I read the book of, but his buddy is going back again to
Damn.
fight more. So he's gonna fight Turkey this time.
Yeah, because you showed me that video of that guy, just a normal fucking dude.
Yeah.
Went over to start fighting, and wow,
Yeah. If you ever want to, dude, you should borrow it. That book is fucking really good.
I might have to give it a read.
What's it called?
It is called Blood Makes the Grass Grow.
Okay. Damn, that's a fucking intense ass name. Blood makes the grass grow.
Yeah, it's his whole fucking story is fucking crazy.
Blood makes the money flow, baby.
Yeah. Ever since this whole little scrap between the Kurds and Turkish have kicked off, Turkey has actually been hiring some, not really PMCs, but they've been backing up some militias so that they can essentially execute Kurds without any repercussions.
Yeah.
So they've been sending them out there to do shit and all that. It's really fucking hard trying to sort through news that comes out of the Middle East, being able to know what's true and what isn't. Because I've seen shit saying, in certain areas the Turkish are getting their asses kicked, and in other areas that the Kurds are. So it's kind of hard to tell.
Everything wants you to believe something.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
But from what I have read and from other people that I've read stuff that have been there, it sounds like the Kurds are some fucking hard asses, and I think they'll probably be okay for a while, at least. And then, this was kind of an interesting one that I found. This one, we're going to go to North America, we're going to fly on south down to Mexico.
Lit. What's happening?
Last Thursday, in an upscale community in Mexico, it was there was a pretty big fucking firefight there in between the Mexican army and the Sinaloa cartel. And this firefight happened because the army was apprehending El Chapo's son.
Holy shit, okay.
Oh, I'm assuming his son has also had some illegal activities.
Yeah.
Like father, like son, you know?
Yeah.
Makes sense, makes sense.
Wow.
So the whole plan was apprehend El Chapo's son, I can't remember what his name was, and extradite him to the U.S. But that didn't really work out.
It never does for the El Chapos.
Nope. So the
They don't
army actually had to end up releasing his son because they realized that in that fight they were severely outmatched by the cartel.
The army, the Mexican army?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Holy shit, that is insane.
Could you imagine? Man, this guy's been a slap in the face to multiple nations, has he? Has he not? And now his son is going to just be fucking handed over
Well,
by an
dude,
army of a country
that's
because they're outmatched? I'm sorry, I'm losing my shit over this topic, but holy fuck.
that's the problem, dude. A lot of people don't always realize it, but drug cartels are usually no one to fuck with, especially in Mexico. A lot of those guys that are now in the cartel are former Mexican special forces who get paid a lot better by the cartel.
Yeah.
So they go work for them. They have other people they hire to come work for them from around the country, or not the country, the world, really.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so, as I said, they released El Chapo's son because they realized they were kind of fucked.
Sorry. Hey, we're sorry. Yep, here he is. We're waving the flag.
And during the firefight, apparently cartel gunmen were going all around the city, throwing up blockades.
Holy
so
shit.
the police
Whoa.
and military could not get reinforcements.
I was gonna say that literally is like attack. Like I feel like if I was a military man against these people, I'd be using that tactic against them, and they used it against them.
So they ended up, after a bit of a firefight, I think they said throughout the night there were like 14 separate attacks throughout the city
Attacks
on the military.
Holy shit.
They ended up having to suspend the operation because they were worried that if they continued it, there would be upwards of 200 civilian casualties.
Getting beat at your own game.
The cartel does not give a fuck
They
about
really don't.
anybody.
But, you know, I mean, they trade their shit back and forth often. I've seen videos of the Mexican military putting in work on the cartel, and
Yeah.
but it's without a doubt that the cartel are
Nothing
they're
to fuck with,
fucking
man.
crazy as
Yeah,
well.
man.
And I was talking to you about it earlier, but I thought it was kind of funny that this just happened. So this Sinaloa cartel is, I was telling you I watched The Mule last night.
Yes.
Have you seen that, The Mule, the Clint Eastwood movie?
No, I totally need
It's
to
a
watch
total
it, though.
watch. It's a total
I
watch,
watched it
yeah.
last night, and this cartel that is in this business is the same cartel that old man was working for to run drugs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So I thought that
okay.
was kind of cool. I was telling Preston this, and this is fucking crazy. I never drew the connection, or I didn't immediately draw the connection until the end of the movie. So the whole movie, you know, there's points when the old guy who's the drug mule, he's like at home, and then he's like doing his drug runs wherever around the country and all that. Whenever he's at home, it wasn't actually filmed in Peoria, but it's supposed to be set in Peoria.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, this isn't really a spoiler. At the end of the movie, like his wife dies, and at the funeral, it says First Lutheran Church, Peoria, Illinois. It's like that's where they're at. Like they weren't actually
No.
there, but that's
Yeah.
where it's supposed to be set at.
What were Clint's words on the matter of filming in
Yeah.
Peoria?
I did a little bit of research on it, and Clint Eastwood said that he wanted to do it here originally, but Peoria was just a little too run down to do it. At least for wherever
The man himself, fucking goddamn
That is
proprietor of
fucking
Spaghetti
hilarious.
Western, says that our town of Peoria is
yeah, for wherever they wanted to film in Peoria
Too run
originally
down.
was not good enough.
That is fucking hilarious.
So
Can you imagine
It
make-
sucks that it didn't actually happen here, but it is kind of cool to have the name connected. Like who the
That's kind of cool.
when have you ever seen a fucking
How the fuck does Clint
This is a
Eastwood know
fucking
about
Clint
Peoria?
Eastwood
How
movie,
does,
and
how
how
does
do
he
you
know
know
about Peoria?
Okay, the only other show I've seen, and I can't even remember the name of it right now, but there was that fucking Disney show.
The Kings of something.
Yeah, the King of something, where like the little
Kings of
teenager.
Peoria or something like that.
It's not called Peoria though. Is it called the King? It's called the King of Peoria. Yeah, the King of Peoria, and he literally comes from like a fucking island, and he lives in Peoria, but they like CG, like a house face into the side of a building that's in Peoria. It's not actually real. They like make it look like it's there, and but yeah, no, that's like the only other time I've heard Peoria referenced besides for
Yeah.
Illinois as a whole in in various bad ways.
Not often
Yeah.
that anywhere in Illinois besides like fucking Chicago is mentioned in
Chicago and
TV.
Springfield.
Get
That's
off
it.
our dicks about Chicago.
Chicago
nation.
and Springfield.
Oh shit.
Chicago is not. You know what? Man, fuck it. I ain't even.
Fuck Chicago.
I was gonna say fuck Chicago. What was it I was talking about recently? This has nothing to do with what I'm about to talk about. But
Fuck Chicago.
when
man.
I was looking up, so we recently in the state of Illinois got the whole federal act of marijuana being legalized for recreational use, coming effective January 1st of 2020. And I was looking at it because I realized it when I was like scrolling through Facebook. I was looking at like different posts and articles made by different news outlets and whatnot. And I think the other night I mentioned to you guys, I looked up, I can't even remember the two, but I know like WNBD-CI Proud and all that is a big Midwestern area, and they had like the Chicago Tribune writing articles on the legalization of marijuana. You remember me talking about this a couple days ago?
Yeah.
Where, so the top half of the state, or Chicago primarily, is like Democrat, and then as you go farther down, it like really cuts off and goes to Republican, and
Yeah.
there's less of a headway made by one side of the party versus the other. And I found that I told you guys that the Chicago and different publishers up there were writing more favorably towards the legalization of recreational use versus what like WNBD has been doing, and all the CI Proud networks have been constantly writing and pushing news articles about the complications that could arise in the process of legalizing recreational marijuana. I just thought it was very very interesting to see the differences, even just like in one state,
Yeah.
as you go farther down and as it gets less Democrat and more Republican. I just, because people down here a lot more apprehensive towards that sort of thing whenever there's like a vaping legislation or this with the marijuana. It's always like, it's good up there, and it's like, come on, why you? It feels like people are getting their arms twisted down here.
Yeah.
But
Well, that concludes my section. So, if you want to get
Ivan's
cooking
News
on
Corner
yours,
is fucking officially closed for
it is
business.
closed for the week.
We're going into what am I, dude? What am I? What am I
What
to you?
are talking about Giggle.
Oh, dude, Google. Okay. Have you guys heard of the Google Stadia?
Indeed.
Yes.
Stadia, however you would like to pronounce it. I would like to preface this by, I didn't know. I looked through the game section here real quick while we were in Ivan's News Corner. On this, this will be much more impressive once you hear some specs about it, but they're going to be offering games on this Stadia, new Google game console thing. Assassin's Creed Odyssey they're going to have, the new Borderlands they're going to have, all the Cyberpunk Dooms, Final Fantasy games, Metro games, Red Dead 2, games that should be hard to run on a console, should be hard to run on a PC. I would think damn near impossible to run on what we're talking about today. So, Google Stadia. Google is touting a new feature they called negative latency. Negative latency. What is latency? We've talked about Wi-Fi. What do you think? We know what latency is. Give me a latency, Ethan. I'm calling you out. I don't know why. You were looking at me. I was looking at you. What's latency?
What is
It's
latency?
Very simple. Don't even make it
time
about
takes
text.
Yeah,
to
the
fucking
time- yeah.
send information back and forth.
Yeah.
Literally, the time it takes for something to recognize that something has happened, basically. Very simple form of latency. They hopefully will have no latency. Now it gets a little confusing. So as you can imagine, console-less gaming means a player's internet connection will have to be stellar at all times. At this graph down here, you guys can see, viewers cannot see. They say that you're going to be able to get 4K HDR videos playing at 60 FPS with surround sound capability at only 35 megabytes per second. Now, I'm going to paraphrase from what this article says because this was kind of written by a shady, credible source here. But they're saying that it needs to be stellar at all times, and their ability to link a Google server is seamless. Someone here from Unitas Global, which is basically like Google's backbone to their internet service. It gets kind of difficult. Unitas Global is basically a software company, and they develop different software and technologies to help route internet traffic through Google servers. But we got someone here saying, owning and operating the largest internet backbone in the world gives Google a large enough footprint of data centers to ensure each user is close to a Google server. So, which reduces the risk of latency. Now, I didn't know this. I did a little bit of a pingage while we were up in the room writing these notes up. Where do you think our closest Google server is? Where do you think our closest Google server is? Where would it be? It's kind of weird that it's actually this close.
It's close.
It's kind of weird. Because you wouldn't think. You'd be like, really there?
Fuck.
Chicago.
Way closer. Way closer.
Bloomington?
Canton.
No, East Peoria.
East Peoria, really?
East Peoria.
Hmm.
So think about that.
Where is that held up at?
Exactly. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. It's probably in some... So, like, just because it's a Google server doesn't mean it necessarily needs to be in a Google server farm. Because, like, think of how many websites are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And all those websites are being held on a server somewhere, at least. So once you think about how many servers there are, or how many websites there are, you know there's at least one server per website, at least. There's a lot of buildings where it's just companies, and they'll just rent you out a server. 1U. 1U is just one unit on a server, and
Yep.
they'll give it to you for a set amount, and blah-de-blah-de-blah. But anyways... Stadia, or whatever the fuck it's called. Stadia? It's not really
I've been calling it Stadia.
Stadia, okay.
Stadia makes the most sense, honestly.
A much more incendiary concept to gamers is what they're also calling predictive input. Now, I talked to Hunter about this a little bit earlier. If extreme frame rates don't work or can't happen, I should probably elaborate on that. There was one thing they were wanting to make happen, kind of more over this predictive input. They're saying that since this is being ran off of a Google Chromecast, all these games, all of this, everything that's happening is being ran off of a Google Chromecast and a connection to a Google server, which is doing most of the processing.
See, that makes no sense to me. How the fuck are you going to run Odyssey off of that?
You
Are you
said
saying
you're
that
not
the
running-
game is going to be ran on the server?
Yeah, you're not running it actually on the...
So the game's ran on the server and then
It's just
streamed
shooting it to you,
to
streaming
the
it.
fucking... Oh my god.
And so
Whoa,
I
that's
actually...
pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, it's very cool to talk about because it's opening up a lot of possibilities. Maybe you won't have to be buying a $300 console.
I feel like there was a company that just not too long ago had kind of started doing their own, what was that company called? I can't remember. I know Linus did some videos on it, I saw.
The company he was doing was it's basically is the same thing. They would offer a product where like you could hook in a little hub at your home, and it's like a little microcomputer, sort of like a Raspberry Pi if you're familiar with it, that sort of thing. And you would pay them a certain amount of money each month or each year, and you could rent out a specific server with like a certain graphics card, a certain PC in it, and as long as your connection was stable at home, your internet connection, you would be able to run AAA games, everything from your home without actually having a computer there. And this is running off of damn near the same concept, except it's much, much more supported. So like right now, if I wanted to send anything to Google and get a response, how fast do you think I could get a response?
Like 3 milliseconds.
I feel like pretty quick.
It's about 3 milliseconds. So imagine that, but you're gaming, and that's honestly faster than you could get from, like, let's say, like that's faster ping you're getting than in a standard multiplayer match from an Xbox to begin with. Your game is being received that way, and with this technology, they're saying they can achieve zero latency, and one of the way they're doing that...
That's insane.
Yeah, one of the ways they're going to be doing that is by pushing... So this device is able to do 4K at 60 FPS, but it can do more than that given a good internet connection. So it's kind of an abstract concept to talk about because it hasn't really been done before, but basically if you're using a 1080p screen, it'll essentially default it at 30 FPS, but it will actually be shoving like 90 or 100 frames in there so that if it ever does encounter lag, you're not with the game, you're ahead of the game so that the lag doesn't actually happen and it can correct itself before it happens so you can still receive input from the game. And this predictive text, they want to use integrated AI since it's all going to be running through a Google server.
Quick little interruption.
Yes,
just because
sir.
it was bugging the fuck out of me.
Go ahead.
The company that Linus did the video on was called Shadow Tech.
Shadow Tech.
That's a badass name for a company.
I mean,
not
they had a
gonna
good
lie.
idea, but it didn't really follow through too well, I don't think, in the long run.
I mean, I've never heard about it outside of him, so.
But with this predictive input AI, if the extreme frame rates don't work, so the sending of more frames to be able to like counteract the lag. Because the big thing about lag isn't that your computer is running slow, it's that your screen is not receiving any frames from the video card, because your computer is at the same speed as the game is running, because your computer's running the game, right? Well, since this computer that's accessing the game isn't actually running the game can be ahead of the computer. Makes, because the server is the first thing it's hitting before it hits your computer or your TV screen or whatever. Predictive input, if the frame rates don't happen and you're getting jittery information, it will actually be able to predict what inputs you would have wanted to put in when the lag spike happens, essentially cutting out the whole, well, fuck, I just did that, but lag sort of issue. It's where you did do it even though it was lagging. It was able to predict what you wanted to do. Pretty crazy shit.
Yeah. That is pretty crazy, honestly. Damn.
Let's see here. Lenny Philp. Okay, so yeah, I talked about at 720p 60 FPS, you can run this off of what they say. This is direct metrics from Google. 10 megabytes a second, 720p 60 FPS. Any game. 10 megabytes a second. 1080p HDR video 60 FPS with surround sound capabilities can be ran at 20 megabytes per second. And the astounding 4K video at 60 FPS with surround sound capability, 35 megabytes per second. That's the best they recommend for this for this platform they're going to be putting out.
I meant to bring it up earlier. So, because you said they are using a Chromecast device, but it was going by a different name, right? Is there anything different about it? I've
got actually right here the specs for it. So basically what I have in my room is a Google Chromecast. Now this Google Chromecast Ultra has actually been out for a little bit. You can look here. It's got HDMI. It's ran off of a USB power, so no more than like a couple volts of power. It is the only thing in this that is actually like helping out the performance of this whole entire ecosystem is like the resolution it's able to display and the frame rate at which it's able to display that resolution. So 4K at 60, since this device can run that, it's technically no different than playing a 4K Netflix video on your Chromecast when you're playing the video game. Yeah. The only thing they add in the package that, because it's $129, it's like however much for the controller, probably $60 for the Stadia controller, which is all ran over Bluetooth. Hold on. No, it's actually ran over Wi-Fi to the Chromecast. The controller is, but it's
holy shit, really?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's kind of weird.
So because technically you could play it from anywhere as long as you're in a house that has a good internet connection. So now instead of bringing a console, you're bringing a thing that's basically like the size of like a campaign button and a controller, and you're putting that in a bag, and then you're just going somewhere, hooking up to Wi-Fi, activating your account. And
So the minimum was 10?
Yeah, 10 megs for 720p 60 FPS video.
So let's say you're running that, right? Mm-hmm. That's what your internet is going at, and you can run the 60 FPS and whatever. So you said the controller connects through Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. So does that leave room for there to kind of be like input lag in between the controller and the Chromecast potentially?
So what I think,
if you have slower internet,
what I think probably happens is, so when you are first setting up because it's over Wi-Fi, right? Mm-hmm. I don't really know what it means versus like what it's connecting to, but like when you set up a new Chromecast device or any Google device, your phone connects to the Google device for a quick second to get the information it needs, and then it disconnects and goes back to Wi-Fi. I'm pretty sure what'll end up happening is, because there's an antenna and a receiver in that Google Chromecast, if it's able to be like connect itself to your phone, then that means there's an antenna and a receiver in there.
Yeah.
So what I'm pretty sure is going to happen is that the Google Chromecast Ultra is transmitting a signal, or vice versa, the controller is transmitting a signal, and the actual Chromecast is receiving the Wi-Fi signal.
Okay.
It's not like, because maybe, and I could see where they're coming from as an engineering standpoint, because it would be more power to put a Bluetooth module in there than it would to have it be off of Wi-Fi, because it's two separate antennas and receivers. It uses a pretty good amount of power. Mm-hmm. But I think it would be like a Wi-Fi channel.
Okay.
From the Chromecast to the controller, but
gotcha.
Yeah. They're just impressing me more and more here. more. Hold on, let me pick up my piece of wood from the ground here.
Oh yeah, put that back in the
I
table.
gotta have my wood on the
Gotta be
table.
there. Gotta be there.
Google's been impressing me recently because they just released their new Pixel 4 that just came out. It's got a really good telephoto lens on it. It's got a standard lens on it, but they've taken the Google Assistant, which used to be 100 gigabytes. So like on your phone, when you use the Google Assistant, it accesses a 100 gigabyte app on a Google server somewhere. Over time, the developers have been able to shrink the whole entire AI package of Google Assistant, everything it can now do, and the new things it can do, the new Google 2.0 that just got released, into a 5 gigabyte app that is stored locally on the device so it can be ran all the time without any input lag from a Google server. And it has continuous language, so you can ask it something. So you could be like, hey, what's Barack Obama's birthday? And it would give you an answer, and you could be like, immediately you could say, send that to Hunter, and it will know that the last thing you just said is what you want sent, and it will send that information to you without having to go, okay, Google, send Barack Obama, because you wouldn't, my phone's going off. You could never do that. You could never take something that you looked up and send it through Google and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they've also, they've just been going off. They also got a fucking, the lens on the back of their camera they just came out with has AI, the photo mode where it adds like the fucking blurry background and whatnot. And with the AI, it's able to distinguish up to a human hair from the background of the subject, which is not something the iPhone 11 Pro is able to do. The brand new phone they just came out with. Yeah. It smooths like the portrait flurries, from a human's hair or from a human's head because all the little hairs and whatnot. Google Pixel 4, the AI is able to determine with pinpoint accuracy human hair and display the background different from the subject.
Fucking insane.
From
that's pretty good.
From a very long distance away because they have new digital zoom and whatnot.
Yeah, that shit's always sucked. Digital zoom has always sucked.
And now they're using the help of AI to make it better than physical zoom on an iPhone.
Fuck.
And this leads to the next talking point, which is more Google news. I know, holy cow.
Multiple Google news.
Holy moly.
Holy cow. Google's killing it right now. I haven't even taken a drink of my soda pop.
Ooh.
Take that sip.
Ooh.
At Google, you may be interested about this. I don't actually know if you've heard anything about this. Has achieved the first example of quantum supremacy. Have we heard about this?
I do not think so.
Oh, we haven't heard about this. Okay. I'm going to have to probably read these notes here, but So, okay, a paper by Google's researchers seen by FT that was briefly posted earlier this week on a NASA website before being removed claimed that their processor was able to perform a calculation in 3 minutes and 20 seconds that would take today's most advanced classical computers, known as Summit, approximately 10,000 years to complete. 3 minutes, 20 seconds, what would take our most powerful supercomputer today, 10,000 years to complete. And I actually went in, I looked up, wanted to know what the whole test was. So there's a little bit of dispute over actually what this whole paper was, what it means, because it was taken down. I think there were probably some people in the quantum world who were not super ready for that news because everyone has been basically shitting their pants for the last month. It has now been reviewed, and that's why we're finally talking about it. This happened about a month ago. It is the first reported case of quantum supremacy because this is the first calculation that a quantum computer has been able to make that only it can feasibly make. Does it make sense? Yes, we've had them. We've known they're faster, but now we know that they can do classical calculations actually faster.
Damn.
So 10,000 years in 3 minutes went by on a computer. Again, the most powerful computer that we have today, which is probably multiple acres large.
Gotta be.
Probably multiple acres large. It's fucking
what?
People have been saying that it is a very significant milestone and the first time that somebody has actually shown the quantum computers could outperform classical computers at all. the implications are huge about this because I've read that. So the big thing is, and it's like actually kind of like a worrying thing, if quantum computers are able to constantly show that they're better than classical computers, and classical computers being binary based computers, zeros and ones, everything you use today, if they're shown to continually break classical computing in a way that it has, pretty soon we're not going to have a form of encryption that could actually withstand a computer code. And that's kind of like the whole point of an encryption, is to not be able to be broken by a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we won't have that. We won't have that. So we'll have to think about how we're going to start encrypting our data. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
Like the best.
Bank accounts.
Seems
Yeah.
slightly concerning.
Credit cards.
We're talking about that kind of encryption.
Yeah.
We're not
bank
talking
accounts,
about
credit
like, oh,
cards, fuck,
I've got
Social
I got
Security
BitLocker on my
numbers.
computer, my data's safe. We're talking about what your fucking banks use, what the US government uses
Yeah,
to keep your social
literally.
security number straight. All that can be broken in minutes if this technology is perfected. Now, it's a
Damn.
great thing and it's a bad thing,
Mm-hmm.
It's a great thing and a bad thing.
North Korea gets their hands on it, man.
Well, that's the thing. And so Google is obviously the one that's been doing this right now. IBM and other server-y, quantum-related people have been going at it for a while, but damn. Google, you're popping off. Google, you're popping off.
Damn.
Negative latency, which blew my mind. Quantum supremacy. It came out with a new phone that's doing crazy fucking shit. Yeah, your AI
Oh, you talking
team.
about the iPhone 4? Or not the iPhone 4, the...
Yeah,
Jeez.
you might as
Pixel-
well
the
just
Pixel
excuse
4.
yourself from the
Jeez
table.
Louise,
The
the
Pixel
Pixel
4,
4, dude. It
Um,
actually
the whole
looks really
predictive input thing.
nice.
That
It looks
was cool.
really nice. It's got the matte edges. Have you guys looked at it?
Yeah, it's got the matte
Oh
edges,
my
and
gosh.
it's actually got like a capacitive function on the frame. So if you squeeze the frame, like you just take
Really?
you take your phone in your hand and you just like that anywhere, it'll start up the Google AI for you.
No way.
And
Really?
you just do a long hold and hey, well, how's it going?
That's pretty cool.
Um,
That's pretty dope,
I
man.
just find it fucking amazing where we're heading nowadays.
Phone's pretty slick.
Talk about what you want for about 30 seconds. I'm gonna make a quick stop at the bathroom, and we're about ready to hammer the next point.
Oh, we're gonna hammer that Zombieland. Land. Oh wait, what are we talking about? Oh, Zombieland! Oh,
Oh!
dude, now
So what you been up to? What you been up to?
you know, today I moved a couch. I moved. I went,
How'd that go?
So let me tell you about how it went. All right, I went out with my mom. You know, it was like
Okay.
it was right after class. Shout out to Illinois Central College for being a good institution to get education out.
Straight yeet mode.
Straight eat mode. People say ICC stands for I can't count. You know what? Fuck those guys.
Fuck those
You
guys.
Fuck them,
Fuck
okay?
you.
No, anyway, don't knock where someone goes to school at. How dare you? How you little
dare you
deviants.
knock someone's
no,
education,
I went
you
with my mom.
fuckers.
I went with my mom at like 12 or 2 or whenever I got out of fucking class. I went up to Peoria into the industrial district. All right, you want to know something something funny about the industrial district?
What's fun?
Well, somewhere along the engineering pipeline, you know what they didn't remember to put in on the roads?
What?
You wouldn't guess it. Fucking street signs. So we're sitting there. So we get off the on-ramp, and there's like a chain link fence, and we can see the mini stores where we're going to get the couch from, you know.
Yeah, okay.
But Google is like, hey, I wish I could show it to the viewers, but on my mom's phone, it was like road, mini storage, okay? And it made a dotted line to the mini storage, like we're supposed to
What?
hop the fucking fence to the place to get in.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, okay, so we called the lady who was waiting at us at the storage unit, Cube Dot, whatever fucking place and monstrosity I went to earlier today.
Yeah.
Called the lady. She was waiting at the establishment. She's like, hey,
Okay.
all you got to know is the first light, take a left. We're like, all right, we're going to go back.
At the first light?
Yeah, at the first light. We already
At the
we
first
already
light.
fucked that up. We took a right, you know. So we didn't actually, but we're gonna get there. Okay, so
We're getting there.
basically after I get there, we take a left at the first light as the lady had suggested, and you know where that
Taking a left.
you know where that gets us. You
Where does that get you?
fucking nowhere. Not any closer to Cube World, Cube Smart, Red Cube Cross, whatever the fuck world we're going to get this mini
Wherever
sofa.
world you're in.
We take a left. We're going all the way down into Peoria. I'm like, yo, Mom, Papa Yui. She tries to Papa Yuli. Yuli. She bails out
Yuli.
halfway through, gets back onto the interstate. So we go 8 minutes in one direction, get back onto an on-ramp, get off the off-ramp. We're back on our way. So we then approach the stoplight again. We take a right this time. What do you know? Opposite of the directions that the lady herself had given me. We take a right. And then, at the second stoplight, we take a left. I'm like, wait, what if she meant? What if she meant the first stoplight once again? And we take a left, okay? Yeah. And then I call the lady again because at the end of this road, a new Challenger approaches a road closed sign. And I call the lady because my mom is driving. Unsafe to have your mother to operate a phone while she's driving a truck, okay?
Illegal.
And I call the lady. I'm like, hey, we're on a road right now. It says the road's closed. At the end of this road, it's a dead-end road. Where are you at? And she's like, I'm on Industrial, North Industrial. She's like, it's on that road. I'm like, this road that you're on is on this road? She's like, well, it's like you take a left from that road. I'm like, all right, beautiful, I'll look. I had my mom go up and down a couple more times, and I finally realized that there's no fucking street signs. It's just metal poles and no green letters or nothing.
Really?
Dude, I'm not fucking joking with you because the only way I saw this lady was when it was on my side. The right-hand turn was on my side. We're going back up like you're going out on the fucking interstate. Yeah. And I see the lady inside the gates of Cube World, Cube-Boy fucking waving her arms. Hey. And then my mom was like, oh, that's my friend. I'm like, okay, great. That's brilliant. Fucking your friend. Beautiful.
That reminds me of the time that we were driving around and we hit this portion in Pekin where there were no fucking street signs as well. There was no stop signs, no yield signs.
I remember
there
that.
was full on fucking four-way cross sections with no signs at all.
No yields or nothing.
No stop signs and no yields. Gosh,
It was the West. It was the West, man.
And there was this wasn't even just one intersection. This was like a grouping of them in one area.
He's right. Where it's just like, you're going down a street and then it's like multiple crossings for that street.
Yeah.
At least somewhere should be a yield or a stop, at least on one intersection somewhere.
None.
No.
None.
Free reign. Back and
Dude,
forth
it's
cross
crazy.
traffic.
It's
But anyways,
crazy.
I see the fucking lady when I get the truck in. Her dog could actually do a cool trick. I didn't talk to you guys about this already. She could fucking point at her dog, whoever. She was rocking a headset. She was talking on like a fucking wire headset, how HLC or TV fucking sells products to you.
Hell yeah, dude.
But no, she pointed her finger at her dog. It was like bang bang pow, and the fucking little dude just flopped over, played dead. I was like, damn, you got a cool dog. But no, I got that couch moved.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dog.
I got that couch moved. Shout out to Cube World, Cube Smart, whatever the fuck we're talking about.
Shout out, dude.
Well, I'm glad I could tell a story.
This is a beautiful story.
While you were pissing, man.
What you been up to this week?
But you know what?
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh, were you asking him?
Yeah, I was gonna
take a piss, but talk to him here for a second.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What you been up to this week?
Going to take a piss. Okay, go take a piss. This week.
This week, what you been up to this week?
Not much. I'm living that fat fucking unemployed life, do some homework, do some video gaming with the friends. That's kind of been my.
What kind of games we play?
Dude, we've been playing fucking Siege. We've been playing that Rust. Hey, fucking maybe before long we'll be hopping over to that Modern Warfare.
Oh, dang.
Damn. Other than that, it's been simple living. Some simple country folk, Midwestern.
Been lit, been wet.
Corn eating. It's been good. But I'm going to be getting busy soon.
What you up to?
Got some work to do for my dad.
Hell yeah.
Here pretty soon. Got to go and stain our whole fence out in the backyard. Got to stain our shed. Stain a couple other things.
Damn, dude, it's getting kind of cold out. You guys better fucking hurry up.
We're getting ready to move on it real quick.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
After tomorrow when we make our trip out to Carbondale, the rest of the week, that's all I'm doing throughout the day. Just staining.
Tomorrow's gonna be fun though. I'm taking my camera.
Fuck yeah,
it's gonna be lit.
Yeah. Then after that, I don't know if he still wants me to do it, but my dad wanted me to go over to the rental house and do some work on their windows. I gotta put some shit on their windows. And then my parents had also just bought a new rental property. It's a duplex. So I'm going to have to go over there and do some demo for my dad.
Oh, my goodness. Nice.
So I'll be occupied for probably the next couple months doing some work for him. And I'm looking forward to it. Give me something to do throughout the day,
Oh, yeah, for sure. But we fucking going to, what are we doing tomorrow, boys? We going to fucking Carbondale.
We're going to SIU, Southern Illinois University. Shout out
to SIU.
A shout out to the fucking dog that's the mascot down there. I know it's some weird looking fucking dog.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
thinking of Western.
Oh, yeah.
You
Which
would
is a
think
bulldog.
you would think that. It's
Is
actually
Southern also a dog?
yeah, it's actually a stupider dog. So
Stupider dog. Okay.
this I don't know where I was going with what I was typing.
Southern Illinois. Central.
Sorry for that burp into your ears.
Such a mascot at the end of that.
Yeah.
It's actually like a really prissy looking dog.
Seleucus.
Yep.
That's his name.
One of the oldest dog breeds. Egyptian, huh?
Oh, hold
Egyptian
on, hold
hunting
on, hold
dog.
on.
No, it's a fucking hairless dog.
It could. It's riding the
I
line.
think I might know what it is. It's one of those. Yeah, I've seen them
Oh
before.
my god.
Yeah. So it's this thing. And, incredibly fast, agile dog.
Oh yeah, they're those bitches.
But
are quick. That looks like
what
a
They kind of look like
Branch like a
greyhounds.
greyhound.
Yeah, I was gonna say
this
they
doesn't
look
do
like
anything.
greyhounds.
Man, me and my piece of wood, dude.
look up.
It doesn't do anything for your school, though. You know what I mean? Like in the context of a football match, you're not really
Oh,
scared
yeah,
of a
absolutely.
Saluki.
I
Doesn't
think if
fucking
I
do shit.
remember, I think Western is a bulldog.
Western is a bulldog. It's a gray bulldog.
Western Illinois University.
Mascot.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Rocky the Bulldog.
Rocky the Bull- and Colonel Rock
Colonel
III.
Rock the Third.
I bet they don't go
Oh,
by
yeah,
Colonel
the-
Rock
the-
the
I like
Third.
Colonel Rock the Third
The
better.
the Leathernecks.
Ooh.
Yeah, there he is.
Happy birthday!
Cute fucking
8th
dog.
birthday. He's
Hell
got
yeah.
a
That's a
birthday
cute
2 days
fucking
after
dog.
mine.
Fuck yeah.
Well, anyways,
That's a cute ass.
happy
dog.
birthday to Rocky
Yeah,
the
I
Third,
mean,
Colonel Rocky the
That's
Third.
that's where I'm fucking going if I continue my education. Going to Western.
That's a good place. But no, we're gonna kick
Big
some-
law enforcement school, from what I've heard. Also a big party school at times.
Hell yeah, boy.
So we'll see about
I'll
that.
be there.
We got a couple stories, but hey,
Yeah, keep that on the back burner.
Yeah, we keep that shit.
Let's
for
kick some-
later.
hey, let's kick some dicks. We're going in real quick. We're talking about fucking. We're talking
What did
about
we do? What did we do? We went and saw what movie?
Zombieland 2 Double Tap with
Oh,
Jesse Eisenberg,
fucking
Woody
what?
Harrelson.
Emma
Oh, fuck,
Stone.
Is that the right one?
Yeah.
Yes.
You never know.
Emma
Oh,
Stone.
yeah.
I could care less.
I can't remember the young girl's name.
Nope. So I wanted to immediately say
Luke Wilson is in it, making
Yeah,
a
dude.
comeback. After
What's the dude's name who's from the fucking Silicon Valley TV show? Can't
Well,
remember
we're
his
gonna
name.
get a
Can't
fucking
ever
figure
remember
on
his
that
name.
here real fast.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know who
both
you're talking
guys.
about. I don't know.
Yeah, I
his name.
can't remember his name. I can never remember.
Here, we'll
his
go to
name.
He's
Rotten
been in-
Tomatoes.
he's been in
Oh,
some
whoa,
shit,
whoa,
though.
whoa! Oh,
It's gone down a bit.
Okay.
Oh, audience scores 90.
okay. Actually, guys, so the critic review when we went to see this movie at launch was at a 90, certified fresh, and it's now at a
Yo.
67.
Yo, what
But-
the fuck happened?
On contrast, the audience the audience score. Okay, I said the word right. The
following.
audience score
Yeah.
went up 3 points. It was at 4 points. It was at an 86. It went up to a 90. You know what? I can't. Butt fuckers.
Now, here's the
These goddamn critics.
I've told you guys before, but I will trust the audience score long
But wait,
before I trust the
yes.
critic score. Not to say that critics don't know how to do their job, but some of them are just fucking wrong. Plain and simple.
Yes.
They're wrong.
I came here to look at the
Yes.
cast. I guess this website doesn't do it for me. Hold on.
Just
Yeah, IMDb.
I don't know. Fucking.
I am Deba.
I don't even remember what the guy's name was in the movie.
You guys shout it
Scroll
out if
down,
you see
scroll
the
down,
tab.
Keep scrolling.
Oh, here we go.
Who? Me and Ethan.
Yeah, you and Ethan, the other guys on this podcast with
Tom-
me.
Thomas Middleditch.
Middle ditch. Yeah.
He played Flagstaff.
I
Okay.
would never have
Albuquerque.
remembered
Well,
that name.
what I wanted to say was,
Flagstaff.
yeah. So this movie was a pretty good fucking movie.
It's pretty
okay?
goddamn funny. I was laughing my ass off the whole time.
Rotten Tomatoes 9 out of 10. I would honestly give it I give it an 8.5 out of 10 maybe. I wouldn't give it a full 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it's
I'd
like
be in
a
that range
take it-
too, probably.
This
Take
movie
it for what it is. It's a fucking hilarious zombie comedy.
92% of Google users liked it. Google.
Google
92% of Google users liked
Google
it.
users.
But
Yeah.
what I was gonna say was, okay, so Woody Harrelson stole the fucking show from this movie.
He was
Absolutely,
very
he
good.
was fucking hilarious.
He took it away.
I have to say, honestly,
Jesse Eisenberg not that funny.
I mean,
I thought he was pretty funny.
No, it's not one of his best performances.
Well, he played a very similar character in the first one. He's
Yeah.
the
and
kind of
that's so weird because he's fucking 10 years older.
yeah.
He looks like the same
Yeah,
human.
they all
Mhm.
kind of play the same
no,
character though.
Woody Harrelson is getting into love. Get your point out. I don't want to keep cutting you off.
So, in my opinion,
yeah,
I think honestly that Woody Harrelson pretty much looks the same as he did 10 years ago in the first one.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
He is like, he hasn't aged very much.
The only one you can tell his age is the little fucking girl because she went through fucking puberty.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, we don't need to sugarcoat the
I don't know.
facts for people. Okay.
I don't want to be fucking rude, but you can definitely tell Emma Stone's older.
Okay.
She did have, she looked a bit
Didn't even
older.
want to talk about Emma Stone because honestly, she didn't do anything in that movie.
She
What did she do?
She was
Not a lot.
much.
She stole the
She did
beast.
a lot of killing.
She ran away and came back.
Which she
Yeah.
did in the first one.
Killing.
That's
Well,
about it, though. But
in the-
she didn't
in the
do
first
much else
one-
aside from killing.
In the first
Exactly.
one, she didn't come back, but in the first one, she also left
Yeah.
with her sister. So
Okay, so
I wish there would have been more of the beast in the movie.
Oh my
It
fucking
had the
God.
minigun on it. I thought some
God
shit was
damn,
gonna happen
nah.
with that.
thing
That
was
minivan,
fucking
man.
badass.
But in all
Oh, that
fairness,
minivan,
in all
dude.
fairness, I feel like the monster truck scene of them fucking spinning
my
and
God.
murking zombies was
At the
just as
end?
good.
At the end,
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty fucking good.
Oh yeah. Spoiler alert.
Oh man,
But,
excuse me, guys. I'm sorry.
I think the monster truck at the end was probably just as cool as the beast could have been. I think they did some good shit with the monster truck.
Probably, yeah.
I was
think it
gonna
could've been
say,
probably.
so Jesse Eisenberg didn't really do so. I'm cutting Emma Stone. I'm cutting the sister really out of it because they were kind of like present,
Meh.
but
Yeah.
they were like
They weren't in it very much.
they were just
Yeah.
in the dialogue essentially. You
It
know, they
was
could have
just-
fucking VO'd their parts and be
It was
good.
it was Jesse, Woody, and fucking Madison.
Yeah, Madison.
Oh my fucking
So
god.
basically, okay, Jesse Eisenberg did not do it for me because he didn't really go anywhere. Neither did Emma Stone. She didn't really go anywhere. And then her sister, she doesn't really go anywhere. She goes somewhere and then like comes back on it by the end of the movie. So they really didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Woody fucking Harrelson, baby. Man, did he go somewhere? He got a love interest. His character shined. These
Dude,
two
I
movies
think-
almost seem like Woody Harrelson movies and not Jesse Eisenberg
Hold
movies.
on.
Mhm.
I think one of the characters that really helped Woody Harrelson's character grow was Madison because like they interact so much throughout the movie.
They
It seems like-
interact a lot.
Oh, and it's so goddamn hilarious. Every
Yeah.
time they interact, it's funny as fuck.
So, talking about Madison. Now, I know my voice just cracked, but don't worry about that.
It's fine.
I didn't mean it, okay? I swear to God I didn't mean
It's
it.
all right.
I didn't
it's
mean
all
it.
right.
Madison stole the fucking show. She was... God damn, was she funny? Was she funnier than Woody Harrelson? I almost think she had so many... where it was just like, fuck.
It was very
God
close.
damn, dude.
They
she
caught me
was
off guard
hilarious.
so many
was-
times.
Oh,
she was
dude,
she was
yes.
the perfect opposite of
Oh
everyone
my
else.
God,
Yes.
dude.
No matter who
I
it
think
was,
the
it was just
the
like,
one
whoa.
the one that really got me impressed in was the one at the end when they get to Babylon.
They're like, hey, who's this?
and then it's just like it's literally like
A half second. Maybe.
30 frames of her just going, "Hey," and it was
She
just,
literally goes like this. She goes, they go, oh,
Or she
who's
goes
this
like,
right here?
"I'm
They go,
Madison."
they go
Madison.
swivel cut and they go, Madison.
Yeah,
And then back.
that fucking
it
killed
was
me. I
so
love that.
goddamn hilarious.
And just, yeah.
I wasn't sure how much I was gonna like her character in the movie, being like the fucking ditzy blonde girl and all that. But
yeah,
There were
it was good. It was good.
there were times where it sort of like ran for like maybe like a couple beats too long, where it was like,
Mhm.
we get it. She's retarded,
Yeah.
She's a stupid fucking
Yeah.
white girl. We get it.
absolutely. She fit the trope. Absolutely.
But other than the times where it was like she's just laughing for like 15 seconds for no reason, other than like those weird tension builders, which like in like context of like a movie, if it's, I'm trying to like think.
Yeah.
If it's like when you're trying to build like a comedic pause. If it's like in the context of like let's say a zombie movie, it's gonna be taken differently than in a comedic movie. So she's sitting there laughing. It's like a comedic pause, but also it's like, aren't you guys like, you guys are like fighting some fucking zombies right now, right? We're taking a 10-second pause listening to Madison laugh. Only in those times where it was like, oh my goodness, come on, type of thing.
Uh-huh.
But other than that, she stole the fucking show. Woody Harrelson stole the fucking show. Jesse Eisenberg was pretty good.
He's kinda mundane,
my favorite moments.
I mean, that's his character though.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's meant to be the uptight dude that's
right,
like,
And he did it well.
If you notice, Madison actually has a very crazy resemblance to the girl he's with at the beginning of the first movie. blonde,
Oh,
super stupid.
apartment, whatever he
Yeah.
calls her.
No
yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
way, really?
Yeah, apartment
hilarious.
304, whatever the fuck, has a very,
That's hilarious.
very, very similar resemblance to the first movie. So he kind of falls back on it and then
I
goes
gotta
back
say,
with Emma. And
one of the funniest fucking things of the entire show was the way that people like go into being T800. Is that what they call them? T800s.
Mhm.
Oh my god, when they throw up, they managed to make every. It was almost like spit takes, kind of, you know, and they managed to make it hilarious every single time.
well, yeah, because it was like,
it was
shit was
visceral
coming
and
out.
chunky, visceral
When-
and chunky every time.
and I don't know if we haven't really given any spoilers. Do we want to give? We can give spoilers. Spoiler
I mean,
alert.
yeah, it's
When Madison has what they did with, so she like at one point when she's having her anaphylactic reaction, I saw it. Her hands wipe across her face and her eyes roll and everything gets like turned bloodshot and her fucking where her hands are at, there's like crazy veins and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
God, because that movie, I mean, it looked really fucking good.
It looked really good, yeah.
It was so weird because like it was the thing that was in the trailer. The only weird thing that kind of like didn't look good was like the slow mo beginning.
I want to know.
Everything else kind of looked.
I
Did
wanna
you have
know how
a?
much?
well,
I want to know how
I don't
much in
wanna
the
cut you off.
movie is practical effects versus
Oh.
CGI.
I will
because
say
I
this.
bet that's really important.
so a couple points. It'll all
Yeah,
tie in
it's-
here.
it's-
Yeah.
tie us in here.
So this is a little additional point. For one thing, I like how for the intro to the movie they stuck with Metallica,
Oh my
just like they
God,
did for the first
yes.
one. And I will say, if I'm remembering correctly, it feels like a very good portion of the gunshots in the movie were practical.
Yeah,
I think they were, especially for the intro. They were definitely practical.
I bet the muzzle flashes were not practical, but I guarantee you the gunshots
Mhm.
were. And the
What do they call-
the fucking sound they did for this film
Was pretty
Holy
fucking good.
shit,
It was
really
good.
Pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
What do they call the pouches for blood? Because the first movie, fun fact, was actually born. It was in Georgia, in right next to Valdosta.
Oh,
down
was it
there.
really?
It was filmed in the Adventureland down there, and I watched some of their behind the scenes, and they had like every zombie in that movie was like an actual person. So I want to know if they kept with that because it kind of looked a little World War Z with people like flooding over, you know?
Yeah.
Because every zombie was practical in the first movie. I want to know how the zombies were in the second movie, and then the whole blood pack thing. What were those? What are they
They're
called?
called squibs.
Squibs. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's what they're called.
I
yeah.
wanted to know if like the shit on the bodies were squibs because everything kind of looked very good except for when stuff was getting hit.
like the
through
head
bullets
smashes
in the
or
head.
like head when
Oh,
they would like when.
but they-
there's one where
The
Woody
attention to
does his
detail on the foot was
Yeah.
good. Was
Yeah.
real good.
really good.
Really fucking good. Really visceral. It was like almost. Have you seen
Because
Midsummer?
it wasn't even like a watermelon type deal. Like they
No, it
really
was-
they put a lot of detail into like making a real skull.
It
and, like,
crushed. It was like a
yeah.
ballistic skeleton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really awesome.
Have you seen Midsommar?
No.
Midsommar.
It's so much.
It's a
Midsommar, no, I
horror movie. Complete fucking recommend on that.
Yeah.
Watch that. But
phenomenal.
the head
good.
kicking scene on the Zombieland 2 Double Tap was very indicative of the fucking club smashing scene in that movie where it looked it looked fucking real.
Yeah.
Oh man, they just did a really good job with it. Domestic so far, it's made $26 million. $26 million. I want to see what the budget is real quick for it.
Yeah, I always get a little mixed up with the whole because in the movie industry there is the squib, which is the whole blood shooting out of you, where they put that little pack inside of your shirt or whatever, and it kind of pops off and shoots blood out.
yes.
What's it called? What's it called? A budget. Thank you.
Budget, yeah. And then in the gun industry, you also have a squib, which is when you fire an underpower round and the bullet stays in the chamber, and then you blow up your fucking barrel. So
Yikes.
there's those two separate things. I always get them a little mixed up.
So it's a $23 million budget.
That's pretty low.
That's pretty close to when we were talking about it. It only had like a $18 or $19 million budget, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It's made $102.4 million worldwide so far, making it the third biggest zombie movie of all
Damn.
time.
Dang.
Second biggest if you don't count Hotel Transylvania, which is a Disney movie, or a Pixar, whatever one of them things.
Because one would
Pixar animated
yeah.
film.
I have to say, so for one thing, I kind of went into this movie with lower expectations, just because I felt like for this type of movie, like I don't know what it is about it, but sometimes there's just certain movies when
it's like maybe it's a one and done.
when you go into a sequel,
Yeah.
it's like, well, I feel like maybe this one is not going to be very good.
Yeah.
I actually made the fortunate mistake of, because we were just sitting around at shout out to Logan Welchman's home. We were sitting in Logan Welchman's home, and we were just bored. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna look up the Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not gonna look up anything about it, but I'll just look up the Rotten Tomatoes. At the time, had a certified fresh and all that. It was at an 85. I went into it with high expectations, and my high expectations were succeeded and possibly surpassed.
Yeah.
Damn.
They did pretty
very good.
pretty fucking good.
They managed to make the story intriguing. Like that's what I was worried
I
about
liked,
the most. That's
I
what
liked,
I was worried about
I liked
the most.
that they went ahead and did like the evolution of the zombies, and they
Mhm.
kind of.
Oh my god!
I liked
yes.
the opening scene besides the shooting where they were kind of introducing what's changed and all
Yeah.
that. I liked that.
when they introduced all three types of zombies.
The
so you got the
Homer,
Homer,
the Ninja,
and then the fucking
and the T-800.
Yeah. Or wait, no, I thought the Ninja and the T-800 were the same.
Mm-mm.
The Ninja, they just said you won't hear coming. They said the first thing you'll hear is your own screams.
T-800
Okay.
is just very, very hard
It's just
to
a
kill.
tank.
Oh, the T-800 is the one that is coming from the west to the east coast.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever
something
it
like
was.
that. It was
it's just,
coming in-
It's
yeah.
it's a new souped up zombie.
breed.
It's tough.
It's a new breed.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. I thought it was good.
Highly entertaining.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that, and this is very minimal reading. I literally have read a couple reviews that are talking negative from critics. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that if the critics who didn't like this movie didn't like,
The first one.
well, either they didn't like the first one or they didn't like the role that Madison played.
Oh, is that the kind of
Well,
common
because
denominator
there's
here?
like a little thing here. It says the main issue with Double Tap is that it attempts to lean on jokes and stylistic ticks that haven't felt fresh in almost a decade, which could go to lean against like, okay, so how long has it been since we've played or poked fun at like the pot smoking hippie kid from Berkeley? Been a while, but it works stylistically in this film, in my opinion, because there's a huge contrast. Like the whole film is basically just like a big contrast, like contrasting
and they were
view
also
type thing.
they
Yeah.
were also if you guys paid close enough attention to it, they timed the piece. It is like a time period piece. It that kid from Berkeley, he's there for a reason. That's because that was a fucking trope back then,
Yeah.
and they wanted to keep it in the same world.
It was a very small detail,
Well-
but one that I liked was that. So obviously, the last film came out in 2009.
I was gonna say they actually waited for it to catch up. Yeah.
Because if you notice at one point throughout the movie, I think it's when shortly it's right after they pick up Madison and they leave the White House after Emma comes back,
Mm-hmm.
and what's her name in the movie? Wichita, I think.
The lady, Woody, Mr. Woody's.
No, Emma Stone.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
So it's right after they leave the White House and they're walking, and I noticed that Madison in the background, she pulls out her flip phone.
No fucking
Yeah,
way.
she pulls out a flip phone because it's still from when the apocalypse would have
I was
happened.
gonna say it's only been a couple months. They say at the very beginning. I don't remember what they say, but it's only been a couple months.
Yeah, so like they still have that. Like they don't. It's not like she's whipping out an iPhone or
Right.
some smartphone. She's got her flip phone. And I liked that little detail that they kept that in.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Because this was it was 2009 when it came out, and I'm assuming since only a couple months have passed 2010,
Mm-hmm.
iPhone haven't even really came out yet.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the parking lot. The trailer baits with Luke Wilson
Oh my God,
looking
yeah.
like he was going to be in it more, but he was really only in it for 15 minutes
Yeah,
or so.
15, 20
Yeah.
minutes. His
Um,
character was pretty goddamn hilarious.
Well, I mean,
too.
same thing for the other kid, Flagstaff.
Flagstaff, yeah.
So I mean, those two guys. I mean, I don't know so much about the other kid, but I feel like a decent amount of people know who Luke Wilson is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's like it seems like he's gonna be in it for a while, but he really isn't. They're there. They do a little fight, then they're dead.
Yep.
I did have one trope.
What was the trope? What was it? What'd you find?
Can you guess what it's related to?
You're gonna have to lead me along here. Give me
Guns?
Yes.
no
I knew
reloading.
Not even necessarily no reloading. I mean, usually that's just a
No
general.
no recoil.
Oh,
because I noticed that. I noticed the big one in that one.
Recoil and No Reloading are just kind of fucking things that happen in Hollywood at this point. It's just,
Yeah.
it's kind of a given. It's going to
Yeah.
happen.
I hate when I watch because it's like only a thing. Because like now you have actors that go out to like tactical ranges that train to go and
some
actually
people have a conscious effort towards it, and
Yeah.
then it's very obvious when someone doesn't. Now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so obvious
Oh.
when someone doesn't.
But my big thing, it's very minimal detail.
I'm sure it is.
Very few people will probably pick up on.
Here we go.
But at the part when they were at like the Elvis Presley house, you know, when they first met the woman and
Mhm.
Luke Wilson and all that, when Luke Wilson and the other guy go out to fight the zombies on the truck,
Yeah.
Luke Wilson
Uh-huh.
is carrying a Draco AK pistol with what looks like to maybe be a 10-round magazine. And for one thing,
Here we go. Weapons engineer.
he was firing way more than 10 rounds at a time. And the other thing, the fire rate was like fucking fast as fuck, which Draco AK pistols do not have.
Because he was firing it probably faster than his own finger could pull it.
I mean, it was full auto, but he was like fucking, here we go, I'm going to back up a little bit. It was like fucking,
Oh.
it was fast as fuck.
Holy shit!
And I was
God
like,
damn.
Jesus Christ, like, what's he got going on there with that little Draco? But hey, I don't know.
Some of the funniest parts were the random weapons that would show up. So, like at one point when they're still in the White House, Woody Harrelson ends up with a flintlock.
I love that.
fucking gun. That shit was hilarious.
Because because then Jesse Eisenberg had the fucking samurai sword.
yes.
And they go into the garage, and Jesse goes in first. And then fucking Woody gets held up on the door because it's got that long ass barrel. And he's like, "Fuck!" And then he pops out and aims it, and like that was funny.
yeah,
I
that
like
shit's
that.
great.
A lot of things I'm seeing critics say here is that the movie feels like it was that it's playing too much on the old movie, which is kind of stupid because a sequel should obviously lead in from the old movie. And they're also saying that it would feel fresh if it was a 2009 movie. And I think the movie actually does it perfectly where it's still in that time period, if it makes sense. Like the whole there's no like references, you know. There's no like, ooh, well, Trump reference, you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. Which
The
we
only
see-
reference I picked up on was when Woody Harrelson says it's time to nut up or shut up.
yeah.
And Luke Wilson says, "Oh, that's 2009 or
Uh-huh.
whatever." That was the only reference I really picked up on from
That
the
shit was
first
so
movie.
that shit was so funny at the end when they're like, "Oh, that's so old. You need something new." And he's like, "Let's kick some
Let's
dicks."
kick some dicks.
That shit's funny as fuck, dude.
But I think
Kick
it's
some dicks.
I think it's pretty clear. I don't think they're going to be making another one. Obviously,
No, it's definitely
Um,
like they should leave it alone. This is definitely a good tie-up.
well, and if they do, it's going to be a Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and whatever that little girl's name is feature. And that movie would not. I couldn't see just Jesse Eisenberg being in a fucking and Emma Stone and that girl being in a fucking zombie movie. I just could not. I could not.
I can't. Yeah, I don't think I could see it being successful.
It wouldn't jive because I mean, how long? I mean, it was like 35, 40.
Now, who would
Minutes.
who would you love to see in a fucking zombie film? You want to know who I would love to see in a zombie film?
Who?
Fucking Daniel Craig. That would be cool. He needs to do a zombie film.
That would be all right. I want fucking Denzel Washington zombie film, dude.
He's kind of done one. It's not really a zombie movie, but
The
yeah,
Book
the
of
Book
Eli,
of
yeah.
Eli is not really a zombie, but it's like the same idea,
Here,
post-apocalyptic.
let me reverse it then. How about we get a cast? So I want Michael Caine.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay,
Michael Caine.
okay, hold on. Okay, so let's think about this here.
Caine.
I want Michael Caine. I want him to be the old, like the scientific reference. All right, I want him to be like the science guy.
Okay.
So he's like the biologist that knows it's breaking, you know, that sort of thing. Like he's Michael Caine. He's fucking going off. He's saying, "Hey,
Caine.
sorry, Master Bruce. I just thought I'd tell you that there's a zombie apocalypse happening here soon. Sorry, Master Bruce."
I just found out that
and so-
items.
I can't think of his name, but do you know who I would love to see in a zombie movie?
Who, dude?
It would probably. I can't tell if it would be like a mixture of comedy and seriousness.
Tell me.
You're probably not gonna guess this one, but it would be the actor who played Dr. House in the House series.
Oh, Hugh Laurie.
yeah, Hugh Laurie. I would love him.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Who?
No,
Dr. House.
Hugh
series.
Lowry.
What?
You never, Dr. Gregory House from the from
No,
House.
no,
and
the TV show House?
Okay, yeah. Holy shit, I know exactly who you're talking about.
I don't know why, but I love
okay.
him. I
You want
like
to see
him.
him in a fucking?
Could you imagine?
I like
okay.
him.
Okay, so first of all, you're absolutely right. House.
you're
You're
heading
absolutely
somewhere.
right. House is one of my favorite fucking TV shows. I used to. Funny story. Have I told you guys this? Where like one night I watched too much House and then I walked into the living room when my mom got home after third. Have I told you guys this story?
I don't think so.
Tell it.
Oh
all.
my
Yes, tell
god.
it all.
Okay, I mean we're at the end of the podcast here soon, but I mean we're over an hour. Regardless.
Yes.
This was back when House was on fucking like I could go into my
daily TV.
Yeah, I could go into my Xfinity and I could like watch all the episodes at once. So like one night I let all the episodes run, and when I was a younger lad, I used to have troubles with like my mom would wake me. Wow. Okay, let's calm down.
Okay.
I'm overstimulated.
Yeah.
Let's calm down. Everyone, take a breath with me. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hey, and there we go. We're back. Okay, so. Basically, I used to have a little issue when I was a wee lad, okay, a wee lad. I would wake up when my mom would wake me up from school, and I would, like, talk to her, and then I would go back to bed, and I wouldn't remember that my mom ever came in and talked to me, right? Well, when I left House on one night, I basically watched too much of it as I was going to sleep, and my mom woke me up for school, and as she left my room, and she went into the kitchen, started preparing some sort of concoction of eggs for me for a morning breakfast, you know, and I walk out, still asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I sit on the couch, and my mom's like, "What are you doing? You gonna take your shower, whatever, that sort of thing." And I was just sitting there looking at her while she's making breakfast, and I'm like, this is literally what she tells me. The story has not changed. Jason, my stepfather, was also there. He says the exact same thing. He says, "Yeah, dude, you sat there." And you said, "Where's your cancer patients at?" I said, "Hey,"
What?
I was like 15 or 16. I said, "I got a cancer patient in some certain lobby. I need to make sure that my cancer patient's good." And I'm talking like at 15 or 16. I'm like, "Yeah, my patient's got a urology appointment," like to my mom.
What the fuck, dude?
And then she's like, because I have woken up when I'm talking to her, and she's like, "You're being fucking weird." Like, I'll wake up, and she's being like, "Why are you being so fucking weird?" And I'll be like, "Wait, what?" This is like only when I used to live there. Like, I would fall asleep and wake up super early. This used to happen. Well, now I just can't fucking sleep. But hey, better than waking up not knowing what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And so I went back to bed, and I woke up, went to school, came back, and she was like, "You have any idea what the fuck happened this morning?" I'm like, "No, I ain't got no goddamn clue what you're talking about." She's like, "Well, you came out into the living room this morning talking about your cancer patient. And I told you you're being fucking weird, so I told you to go back to bed for like 15 minutes. So apparently I literally came out, talked to her for like 5 whatever minutes. She was like, "Okay, my son's being fucking weird. Go back to bed." And I went back to bed, woke up, never remembered it, and went to school.
Damn.
Yeah.
Brain's a hell of a
Dude,
thing, man.
I swear to God, though. some of
Simple quotes. Say it one more time. 3, 2, 1.
Brain's a hell of a thing, man.
It
End
really is.
quote. Ethan Graham, 2019.
My whole life, I'm ashamed that I only have like 2 good ones, but sleepwalking stories are just so fucking funny.
Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
really don't have that
I
many.
have 2, and
I have one more as well. Yeah.
so
You'd have to talk to my parents because I did all that shit when I was really young.
yeah. So the first thing that ever happened to me, I was the first one I remember more so. Actually, I remember both of them fairly well. Like, it was just one of those weird, like, fucking groggy states where it's all just fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like half in and out of sleep where you're just kind of, you know.
Yeah, you're dreaming with your eyes open.
Yeah, so the first time it ever happened, it was at my old house across the street from you. And I woke up at some point in the night, and I went across the hall to the bathroom, and I started pissing in the trash can. Like,
Oh, you've told
it
me
was
this
right there.
story
It was
before.
like
yeah.
it's like right under the trash can. I'm
Yeah.
small enough, so I get under there, hunch down, and I start pissing in the trash can.
Of course.
And like, apparently, I'm being loud as fuck because my mom wakes up and comes in. She's like, "What are you doing?" And it scares the fuck out of me.
Right, you wake up.
I wake up and I slam
Yeah.
my head off the sink, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?" And I'm like, "Why am I in the bathroom?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "You were taking a pee at the trash can." And I was like, "Well, fuck me." Oh, second sleepwalking
Is
story.
this recent?
And then I have one to tell you that
Oh,
I told
okay.
Preston, have not told you yet. It's kind of weird.
Very fucking weird.
Second one, we were camping. This was before I was friends with you, but we used to have a motorhome, And one time we were camping in
Shout
that.
out to the fucking bumblebee.
The honey, dude.
Oh, the honeybee.
And
honey.
so it was like one of the ones where you have like the bed above the cab of it. It overhangs a little bit. into the
Yeah,
cab.
yeah, yeah. It's like a truck. It's on a truck sort of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So I slept up on.
Man, those are nice.
I slept
like
up on the bed above the cab,
Uh-huh.
and to get up and down it, you know, you got a bit of a journey. You
You
either
step
go
on something or you go on a ladder or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in my sleep, I got down the ladder, or somehow
And your
without
parents are in there.
without making, I assume, too much of a ruckus,
Right.
you know, because people weren't freaking out.
Oh, I know this one too.
But I went down the hall to the bathroom,
Yeah.
and I was just sitting there outside of the bathroom. It's like one of the little sliders, you know.
Me and Noah spent a night in his little grandfather's RV thing. It's
Yeah.
like a trailer, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
There's like
The whole
there's
situation.
a slider there for the bedroom, and to the left of it is like the bed where like my parents were
Right. The
sleeping.
big bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was standing there waiting for I don't know how long. And my mom wakes up and she's like, once again, she's like, well, what are you doing? And the door was closed. So I'm like, I'm waiting for the bathroom.
yeah, dude. What is it? Like 3, 4 in the morning?
Oh, probably. Obviously, no one's in there. So she's like, no one's in there. Just go ahead. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So I walk in there and go to the bathroom.
Never heard this before.
And then I'm back off to bed. But yeah, who
Yeah.
I'm
knows?
fucking crying.
Who fucking knows how long I would have stood there had she not woke up
Oh,
and
yeah,
told me
absolutely.
no one was there.
Infinity.
Could you fucking imagine being his mom and waking up and seeing how old were you? How old were you?
Probably 15, maybe
Your
14.
15-year-old son standing out of a fucking outside of a bathroom door in your goddamn
At the foot of your
pull-along
bed.
camper at the foot of your bed. Wake up. What are you doing? I'm waiting for the bathroom. My fucking immediate two thoughts are, what the fuck is wrong with my son and who's in the fucking bathroom?
But yeah, I was just fucking. I was waiting, dude. I was waiting for someone to come out
Oh
and
my
finish up.
god, Hunter.
Damn, dude.
So
I've
the,
never heard that before.
the
That's so
third
good.
story that you have not heard yet.
Let's hear it.
This happened last week.
Holy shit, you sleepwalked last week?
No
this was
sleepwalking.
not sleepwalking.
Okay.
This was maybe freakier than that.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
I got a
So-
little thing to add on to this as
Okay.
well.
So as you know, last week I was sick. You know, I had a cold and I had
Yes,
some
sir.
respiratory things going on.
Yes,
We
So-
all have.
Yeah, that night before I went to bed, I had doped up on some medicine to help me sleep and all that.
Don't put that in the podcast. Doped up.
Legal
Fucking
medication.
doped up.
Legal medication.
Over the counter. How dare you?
So I had taken some medication to help me sleep, and I went to bed, and that is what I figure is maybe the source of this.
Take some melatonin.
So I figure it was probably maybe around 3 to 4 in the morning. I wake up because I swear to God someone goes, Hunter, like wakes me up. So I woke up and I was like, I started looking around, and then like the area in between my desk and my bed,
Yeah.
like right there,
Mm-hmm.
where my office chair usually sits. I'm looking, and I swear to God,
Yeah.
100% I see Aaron.
Aaron,
Yeah.
my brother?
Yes,
And his room.
and I'm
Whoa,
sitting there
what the
looking.
fuck?
And I'm like, what? Like, why are you here? And like, I swear to God, it was clear as day. I saw Aaron, and then I just kept looking for like maybe however long, maybe 20 seconds more. I keep staring there. That eventually, like, it just fades off, and I realize like, oh well, that's my chair there, and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, Aaron's not here. And then I went to bed.
Oh,
But-
man.
Like for like fucking 15 to 20 seconds, I swear to God, I heard someone go Hunter, and then Aaron was there,
Yeah.
and I was like, whoa.
And I had
Damn.
a slightly similar thing. I don't know.
Yeah, you had the same thing.
I don't know. It was literally the same morning we talked about it to each other. It was I woke up. So whatever I had been dreaming about had my mother in it. Okay, and I woke up, and as I was waking up, the words were already coming out of my mouth. I was opening my eyes, and I was on and I woke up and I was like, Mom. And I was like, what the fuck? And it took me like, and I think I said it twice. I literally woke up,
Whoa.
I was like, Mom. And then I was like, wait, why the fuck am I
Whoa.
saying Mom?
Huh.
She's nowhere in this home. Why the fuck am I saying that? And it just is like, I fade out, and I'm like, because like, after I woke up and I said it, I was like, fuck. I was like, I need to get my mom's attention. And it was like that for like 15, 20 seconds, and I was like fucking out of it. I'm like, okay, it makes no sense that I said that. We're done here.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you betraying me, brain?
Yeah, the only other weird thing that's ever happened to me, sleep-wise, that has never been released to the world.
Piss yourself?
Huh?
Did you pee yourself?
Well, of course, everyone pisses themselves. That happens.
I did that yesterday.
This is this is a little unique. I don't know what transpired while I was sleeping, but I went to bed with clothes on and I woke up naked.
I've went in with a shirt and came out with a shirt before.
No, I've woken up with clothes, or I've woken up with no clothes on
Yeah.
before. Yeah, I've had
Well, that's
that
just
happen.
weird. Like I went to bed, I had a shirt, I had underwear, and I had shorts on.
I think you
And
probably get hot.
I
and then
wook up and I was
Maybe, dude.
fucking naked.
Yeah,
you,
man.
You wake up, you
Had that
strip.
shit happen. So one time when I was really young,
I gotta pee.
I
Hit it.
Oh, I'll save this for when you get back then.
What's
Well,
the
I was gonna
talking
say, what
point
are
while
you
we're
gonna
gone?
talk about while I'm gone? I can't let you do that. Better
Uh,
come up with something. You just talk about it. I can listen to the from the bathroom. You good?
Okay, so
spout it,
it's
spout
one
it.
time when I was probably, I want to say like 6 or 7 years old, and I had slept walk into the bathroom, and Aaron was also sleepwalking at the same time,
Oh,
which is crazy because pretty much any time he slept walk, I would as well
okay.
throughout our entire childhood, which apparently was a lot when we were really young.
That's weird.
So, this one time, he was going to the bathroom and sleepwalking, and I too was sleepwalking. I'd gotten up and I really had to pee, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of waiting, I just dropped my fucking drawers and I start peeing on the cabinet right next to the toilet while Aaron's right there.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
You
I
gotta-
didn't give a fuck.
Man, I mean, hey, you gotta let it fly. You gotta let it go.
Fly, man. When you gotta go, you gotta
And,
go.
I mean, if you're like half asleep, you don't give a fuck where you're pissing. All you know is that you're pissing. It's happening. You're getting what you need.
Yeah, dude. It was crazy. Anytime that, like, Aaron would literally have, like, nightmares and wake up just fucking blood-curdling screaming.
Mhm.
And it would freak me out, and I'd have nightmares because of it, and I'd, like, sleepwalk. It's crazy.
That, dude, so for one thing, I can't say that for a long time I've had like a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I might have like a dream that's kind of like weird or kind of slightly concerning.
Yeah.
But like I haven't had a nightmare for like a long time. But I used to have I feel like I've definitely probably told you about it before. I used to have a reoccurring dream where when I was
You've told me this before. The runner
the runner.
behind you chasing you, something chasing you, right?
Well, I've had a couple things like that. But this was the big one for whatever reason. When I was a kid, I was deathly terrified of Chucky. You know, Chucky the doll.
Same.
Yeah, dude.
Horrified of Chucky.
Chuck.
And I used to have a dream. You know how like when you have a dream and you know someone is in it, but they might not look like what they actually look like, you know?
Yeah.
It's like they're there, you know it's them, but it might not actually look like them in your dream.
Yeah.
So
What you just said is very weird, by the way. It's them, you know it's them, but it's not
See,
actually
I've-
them.
I've talked
It's
to
just
this-
the
I've talked to you
craziest
guys
shit
about
that
this
their
happens in
appearance
dreams.
is not what it is.
Yeah,
Right.
I've talked to you guys about this before. We'll get back to
But your
that. Just a
ego
real quick
knows that it's them. It's very
real quick
weird.
Tangent. Your brain can actually not recreate a face.
Anything you
perfectly.
see in your dream is someone you've seen for
Yes.
in real life.
Yes, but you cannot recreate a face like perfectly. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime you see a face in your dream, it's actually not exactly like the person.
Yeah.
It'll be like your brain fills
Something's
in the
off.
blanks. Yeah.
It's like uncanny.
Well, you don't
Valley.
have a perfect
But-
memory
but your
unless
br-
you do. But
But your brain is always like, "Oh, it's this person because I'm telling you it's
yeah,
this person."
it's like uncanny valley.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know it is, but for some reason it also isn't. It
Yeah.
is and it
For-
isn't. It's
yeah,
for
very
those
weird.
for those viewers that don't know, uncanny valley is what is basically a lot of the time it comes a lot with like CG in Hollywood when they try to recreate a human face and it looks enough like a human, but you can tell something is not right.
yeah, like
Which
the
is
can
the
be
uncanny
off and the
factor. It's
complexion
It's like
can
the
be a little
pores
weird.
stretching
Yeah.
or a lot from what I've learned
The
so much about.
muscles.
I've learned so much about it from fucking
Corridor Digital, man.
The
Shout out.
top lip is a big one.
Yeah, it's all of the different contractions of all of the individual muscles in your face.
Yeah.
How many is it to frown? It's like 36
It's a-
different muscles
it's-
to frown.
It's a pretty
it's-
good amount.
a substantial amount more to frown than it is to smile. I always find it interesting though when they just bring up that like, hey, we know this. We're explaining it through a visual effects standpoint, but you know it's great. You also know it, and you don't know why.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
just
that it's
nature.
fake.
It's those natural things
nature,
you
yeah.
just pick up
Because
on.
like think about it. Like when I hate to derail whatever you were talking. I was at the
It's-
bathroom, but fucking we're out. Back when Charlie Chaplin used to do the whole off the rail shit, they were talking about how it's like a photo scene painted on.
Yeah.
No one at the time knew that was fake. But now that we're getting into like human fucking duplication, like duplicating a human's face.
Yeah.
Did you watch
The Gemini Man?
well, yeah, what they did on the Gemini Man, apparently that's groundbreaking. Apparently
What
that's
do they do?
groundbreaking.
It's so
For
groundbreaking.
at least for like facial structure.
Yeah,
and all
facial
that.
structure and how everything's done. So, have you watched the new VFX React from Corridor? They talk about how they actually did melatonin simulations, so that like if you hold your breath, obviously your face gets purple. They did that sort of simulation.
Holy
and
shit.
since
Okay.
since it's in 120 frames per second, all of the stunt coordination and CGI with the stunt coordination needed to be done in such a way where it didn't look like anyone was pulling hits. So everything you see is like contact, basically.
Real contact.
Contact. Because if you're shooting, you're literally 100 frames higher than what you're shooting at. If people don't know, most movie pictures are shot in 24 frames per second. It's the cinematic
Shooting
feel.
in 120 on a fucking like a film set is insane.
Oh, yeah, you're
Why do
getting
you know how
100
fucking expensive that
What?
is to store?
I want to know how.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I want to know how big the fucking movie,
Oh,
And
the
that's
the
so
unrendered
expensive.
movie
That's-
file. I want to
okay.
know how big it
because
was.
when you're on a fucking film set, you're shooting all of the fucking cinema in RAW, so it's a massive fucking file. It's gonna be a gigantor file, dude, massivo. And then on top of that, you have to think about they're taking multiple takes on every single version has multiple takes from multiple cameras. So I would assume each film set probably has at least 2 to 3 cameras on all the time.
Yeah.
So you're
Well,
getting
maybe
getting-
more with all the animation detailing and whatnot.
dude. So you're getting constant raw footage from 3 different cameras, multiple takes every single time.
3 different cameras, and then the 6+ cameras it takes to do the 3D motion tracking and
Yeah,
whatnot.
exactly.
Like all like the pinpointing, be able to create like all the perfect models and
You're
the
literally-
photo scans
you
of the
literally
area.
You need a whole ass server just for a goddamn movie.
Well, what's the okay? So Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6 had some pretty astounding. We talked about Toy Story 4. We're kind of closing it off here, but Toy Story 4, right, had some pretty crazy.
Phenomenal.
Like when I say like, I told Hunter this, like it was like the whole reason I recommended it to him. There is some parts where like they're in like an antique store and they're running behind shelves with the dust and whatnot. It is so incredibly lifelike that I can't even tell. The only thing that I know, like how I know it's not real, is because toys are fucking moving.
Yeah.
That is the only way.
The point where I told you, I messaged you shortly after you told me to watch it.
rain in
when
the
I started
beginning?
At the very beginning of the movie,
The water.
when the rain is going down the gutter and the
Yeah.
RC car is in it, and Woody's there trying to save
It's
the RC car,
perfect.
it was like, oh my god!
You couldn't even.
I was
The
like,
only
this
thing in
looks
that,
fucking real.
the only thing in it that doesn't look real is the RC car
Yeah,
because it's a character. But yeah, no man, just fucking.
Dude, Pixar is on another level. They have been for years, and they always will be.
They have,
They
yeah.
have always been a fucking step ahead of everyone
Well,
else. In the
so
animation
where I was
division.
going with that, so Big Hero 6, you were talking about the server farms needed and blah blah blah.
yeah.
Big Hero 6 took, guess how many months? How many months it took to render out
Oh, to
the
render
full animation?
like 6 months probably.
God damn, 6 months. It took 6 months to render a 2-hour movie
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Fuck
On-
yeah, that
on-
makes total sense.
on one of the world's fastest supercomputers, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you go back and watch that movie, it has some amazing shaders for being an animated film. It's really, really complex. It's very good, very, very good.
Well, I think maybe we've kept the audience for a little bit too long here today. We've got a 1 hour and 30 or 29-minute podcast here we're sending out.
Yeah.
But
That's a good podcast.
well, we hope you enjoyed. This been Preston,
this Ben Hunter,
This has been Ethan.
and this has been Up in the Air.
an American podcast.
Goodbye.